Hello and welcome to the AURA Podcast with your girl, Kubi Springer. Today I'm sitting down with Vadim, the CEO and founder of Bioniq. We sat down and we talked about how it is that he started Bioniq based off of an injury that he had as a basketball player. We talked about his love for the sport and mine as well, and the fact that he played in America on the biggest basketball courts. We also dug deep about the journey of starting Bioniq and the fact that he managed to get Ronaldo, the infamous soccer player, to be his investor and shareholder.
He is in the moment, he's present, he's very well prepared, very respected, and he could not be more forthcoming and supportive, especially given, everything that is on his shoulders on every single day.
I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it, so let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the AURA Podcast with your girl, Kubi Springer. Today I am sitting down with Vadim from Bioniq. How are you?
Very well, thanks for having me.
I always want to start with a very simple question. How are you finding AURA?
It's probably the most unique and interesting setting. I'm very pleased I have no shoes on and finally talk a little bit, so yeah, it's beautiful.
And the water's warm?
The water's warm.
Yeah, and you've come on such a good day.
It feels like in Dubai almost every day is a good day.
Yeah, I agree with that actually. You did the walk around earlier.
I did the whole thing.
Yeah, which side was your favorite?
Depending on the yoga side was quite nice. I think you kind of get the enjoyment. You kind of rise with power, so it's nice to be here.
I love that, you rise with power. That's super cool. How often do you do yoga?
I used to do it probably 5 times a week for 3-4 years, stopped, and now I'm back to it a couple months ago.
Okay.
So I'm back into it.
Nice. And was you combining 5 days a week yoga with other workouts?
Unfortunately, I'm a little bit of a sports maniac, so yeah, I do 4 or 5 times weightlifting, lots of cardio, a little bit of yoga, a little bit of boxing, there's a lot of things. And of course, you always have hoops.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about obviously you being the CEO of Bioniq, but you didn't start off as a businessman. You started off in basketball.
Correct.
Which, just FYI, is my most favorite game of all times. My dad is a soccer guy, so he would make me watch the football, because obviously I'm British, so it's the football. But I've always loved basketball. When did you fall in love with the sport?
So most people, I was born in 1985, so I'm 40 years old. In 1992, there were the Dream Team, the Olympics in Barcelona, when Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Magic Johnson came. I was 7 years old, the whole world was going crazy, and this kind of thing, basketball just came on the global scene. So I started playing a little bit with my dad, and then I just took it from there. And then I became really, really tall. So I'm 6'9". So I was tall quite early. And so by the age of 13, 14, I knew this was going to be my absolute passion, my profession. And around 16, I was scouted to play for the German national team. I started playing international globally. I started playing against the US national team. And when playing against the US national team, I got scouted and recruited to play overseas, so to play in New York. So I ended up playing for the Buffalo Bulls for 4 years.
Phenomenal. I want to slow this down a little bit, because as somebody who loves the sport so much, when you're young, and you realize all of a sudden that you can dunk because you've got that growth spell. What is that first moment like?
It's funny because I think there is the life before and after the dunk. So I think the first time you dunk around 14, 15,
right.
It feels like you're at the top of the world. I don't think nobody ever asked me that, but I think, again, for anybody who likes basketball, being to dunk is one of the milestones of your life, yeah.
I'm sure, because I'm 5'6", so I'm tiny in comparison, and the one thing I wish I could do is dunk a ball. Like, just, it'd be amazing.
It is good, I agree.
It is. So you lived in New York City. I lived in New York as well. You said you were there for 4 years?
So yeah, I was upstate New York, so it's Buffalo, New York, so I played for the Buffalo Bulls. I had a flat in New York because I do like the city.
Yeah.
So I went back and forth, but yeah, New York was my base for 4 years, yeah.
Amazing. And what was it like playing for Buffalo?
It was incredible, because one thing you need to understand, when you play in Europe, basketball is a good sport, but it's not the sport. When you're in the US, I was in college, I was on all the billboards, I could play myself in a video game, I was on ESPN, on national TV, people would know me, come up in the streets, get for autographs, like stuff like that. The popularity contest is just so much bigger there because you're in the limelight constantly. So it just makes you understand the importance of sports for the US culture. And then you come back to Europe and nobody knows who you are. You're like, what a weird tall guy. So it's a huge difference where you're there and it just feels how important what you're doing to the culture of the US.
I so agree with you. You played at Madison Square Gardens, right?
I played in a lot of NBA arenas.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden is probably it's the mecca of basketball. It's one of the most famous. So I think when you get to that level, and when you get to experience the highest quality of surrounding entertainment, fans, it's hard to go back.
I don't think people, unless they've been at a basketball game in the US, I don't think they understand why we're smiling so much. Because it's major, isn't it?
It's not a basketball. So the NBA is not a basketball. NBA is entertainment. People can go there and now watch the game and still have the best time ever because everything around it makes it so special. I mean, the US knows how to produce something so special. So yeah, we're smiling because it's an experience.
It is. It is. Have you done All-Stars, or have you been to All-Stars?
So I've been also in Germany. I haven't been to the All-Star game in the US. I've been to a lot of playoff games, a lot of stuff. And again, the atmosphere is incredible, but it even goes up a notch.
Yeah, it does. On my bucket list is to go to All-Stars.
100%.
Yeah, on my
100%.
bucket list. Okay, so we got to ask this question. For you then, all-time favorite player in history is?
Hakeem Olajuwon. So Hakeem Olajuwon is a very unpopular
Completely
answer.
unpopular answer.
Because when you grow up, everybody loves Jordan.
Yeah.
Everybody, and you're like...
But you can't not love Jordan.
No, I love Jordan.
Right,
The problem is when you say Jordan, nobody understands how deep of a basketball fan you are. But when you say Hakeem...
Hakeem's a great.
It just separates the people who are in the know from the ones who are like fair weather fans. So Hakeem Olajuwon for me growing up was incredible. He was not American born, he was Nigerian.
Yeah.
So he came in, he started playing soccer first like I did in Germany. He had an incredible career, he won 2 titles. And if you look at his game, it was one of the smoothest games ever. He was athletic, he was good, he had the touch. And again, but it was all about not just being a follower of everybody else, but just stand out and have an own opinion. So Hakeem Olajuwon was the one.
Okay, that's fair. He had an art to his game, so I'll give you that.
Yes.
However, you can't not say Jordan.
Oh, no, he's the best. No, Jordan is the greatest, he's the best, but it's you asked me for my favorite player.
Yeah,
That's the favorite
fair.
player.
Modern day players today.
Yeah.
Are you a LeBron? Are you a Steve Curry? Like, which camp are you sitting in?
So, because I had the pleasure, because I played for the German national team, Dirk Nowitzki was obviously huge as part of my whole life for over 20 years. So I became a Dallas Mavericks fan. And when they drafted Luka Doncic 7-8 years ago, I actually flew to some of European championships to watch Luka play live for Slovenia. I became a huge Luka fan. So the thing that happened this year, and people don't follow basketball, Luka was traded, which was considered the biggest scandal or trade surprise in history of professional sports. He's at the Lakers now, so Luka Doncic is my favorite player.
Yep. So now you switch to the Lakers.
No, I'm just with Luka. It doesn't matter. Like, if he gets traded tomorrow to Charlotte, I'll be a Charlotte fan. I'm a Luka fan now.
Fair. I love that. I mean, I'm a big time Lakers fan. I have been since I lived in New York, which was not popular.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a Lakers fan because I love the franchise as well as the game.
Sure.
I love the business of sport.
Sure.
So let's get into that, because as a player, you were popular, successful, clearly rich, because I know what you guys get paid. How did you balance that as a youngster, kind of making sure that you spent your money wisely, that you didn't get caught up? I think there's a crazy statistic that says something like 85% of NFL players end up broke 5 years after the game. How did you not get caught up?
I didn't have the luxury of being so well off that I could go broke that quickly. So I was not that high up, but you're completely right. The thing with athletes is, because there's a scoreboard, you chase the scoreboard. And there's the saying, you feel good, you look good, you play good. So people consider investing in themselves and spending a lot of money on a lot of luxury items to be part of their persona, their aura. And that, unfortunately, only lasts as long as a career lasts. And the NFL stands for not for long. So because on average, players only play 2.5 years. But they spent money like they're going to play for 20 years. Yeah. So there are a lot of issues with athletes is A, they don't have a plan B, what's going to happen after the career, and B, they're spending too much money in the moment. I was fortunate enough, I have a business major, so I understood, I could count, and I understood in terms of, cash flow, what decisions you have to make in the future to ensure that your life quality is stable going in the future.
In the moment when you were playing, was you thinking about the exit strategy?
I had to.
Yeah.
I'm the unfortunate situation. I had 4 torn ACLs, so I had the most ACL surgeries and professional athletes. So it still is a Wikipedia page, I think, of me.
Wow.
I'm the only athlete who come back after 4 torn ACLs, which means I rehab more than I played, which also means I knew very early on that I will never have a long-term career, and I should think about what's going to happen after sports.
You know what, it's a really, really tough thing because I trained as a dancer, classical ballet, from the age of 4. I injured my knee when I was 17. I knocked my T-bar out. It's the hardest mental challenge when you injure yourself, because ballet is a sport like basketball, right? Or you're an athlete. When you injure yourself, to mentally say, I'm going to go again. Because I had a mental block. The idea of putting on point shoes,
of course.
I actually couldn't mentally do it because of the injury. So how did you overcome that?
You're preaching here. So there's the first time you tear it, you don't believe it. You think it's a freak accident. The second time you tear it, you feel like, why me? And it becomes really hard. And then the more it happens, the more you question yourself, and psychology becomes really, really difficult. And there's even a point where I started working with sports psychologists, where it feels almost like you want to get hurt again, just so you can go back to questioning and to really call it ends. So it's a real psychological thing. I fully agree with you. It's so difficult for people to understand how hard rehabs is, because you're alone in this journey for 6 months. There's no teammates, there's no training, there's no fans, there's nothing. They're just you and that injury. And coming out of it, of course, I mean, for me, when I take away from today, it gives me a lot of discipline, but also exposed me to health optimization and medical, just the innovations in medical very, very early. So I'm very, very grateful for that experience back then. But again, when you're in that moment, it's one of the darkest places.
It is. I was in rehabbing my knee for 6 months, and it's lonely, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Now imagine doing that 4 times.
Oh, no, I can't. I can't. So in those moments, I would assume this honing in on health, honing in on your body was the beginning, the foundation of what we have today.
Correct, because I realized back then that what it takes to optimize what the body needs and why injuries happen in the first place. It's not just preparation, it's also what's inside of your body, how you treat it. And again, you only have one body. The thing people forget the whole time, you have all those things that you pay so much attention to, your phones, your cars, the electronics in your life, but the body is just one. And you can't just switch it every 2-3 years. You have to actually invest in it. And one of the parts why I started what I'm doing today is because I understood the importance of it, and I understood that the whole checkups that we do or the updates that we do, we should focus first on our body before we're doing anything with anything that we can buy and throw away.
When you first started to think about Bioniq, did you see it as a business that you wanted to run, or was it just a personal obsession?
Completely a personal obsession. I think most founders will tell you that there's a scratch your own itch situation where you're in a situation where you want a product and you want to buy it and you are so surprised that it doesn't exist. So in my situation was the following. I was around 32 back then. I was feeling sluggish, I was feeling brain fog, I felt symptoms that I didn't want to feel in terms of just energy levels. So I went to a traditional doctor and told him about my symptoms. And the doctor, after asking me to do a blood test, looked at my blood test and said to me, everything is fine with you. And when I asked, what do you mean? He's like, you're in the normal ranges everywhere. And I'm like, but I still have all my symptoms. And when he told me, listen, if you would be somewhere off, I can prescribe you something, but there's nothing you're off on, so I can't prescribe you anything. I realized traditional medicine is very, very reactive. Once you're ill, we'll treat you. I want something proactive. And what I wanted was, I wanted personalized solutions for my symptoms based on my needs and goals. And when I went to the market to find out what's out there, I realized most companies only do one of 2 things. They either give you diagnostics, where they tell you, this is what's wrong with you, but they give you no solution, or they give you a solution, but the solution is very generic. If you today go into any drugstore, you pick up any bottle of supplements or vitamins, it will say take 2 pills. You take 2 pills, I take 2 pills. You probably need 1.5, I need 7, but we all take 2. And I was like, the system is broken because there's a generic approach to health, but we're all personalized, we're all unique, and that's how Bioniq started.
How do you take the idea of something that is personalized, that's tailored, that's unique to the individual, but then mass produce it so that it can actually turn into a business?
So that's the hardest part, it's called the scalability aspect. So Bioniq, the uniqueness of Bioniq, every single product is tailor-made to the person. So it's very, very labor intensive, but also it's also the most effective product in the market. So the uniqueness of Bioniq as today, so Bioniq is now 6 years old, so we launched 2019 in London, where last month we sold to 73 countries.
Amazing.
We did I think, over 237,000 formulas last year, and every single formula was unique. So there's no vitamin mixture that we ever produced which was the same for you, for anybody else. And even if you stay with us for longer periods of time, your supplements will change every 3 months according to your needs and goals. So the hardest part, as you said correctly, how do you scale such a tailored business? We managed to do so because we were able to showcase to people the value of the product, because you can do every 3 months a blood test and you see the efficacy. And when people see the efficacy, the product actually works, then you will subscribe and you will stay with us long term, which will allow us to reinvest the money and making tailor-made solutions.
So is the business model more about the lifespan of the customer
100%.
that then gives you the returns?
People ask us, how long should I take Bioniq? I ask them, how long do you plan on eating healthy and sleeping well?
That's a good answer. You just dunked on them.
I've been practicing that one.
Very good. So, okay, it took me through the process. I'm at home and I'm feeling, so for me, I'm 46 years old. I actually had pre-menopause when I was 36, so I stopped being able to have children very, very young. I come to you and I'm like, I think I'm fit and healthy, you know, maybe I put on a dress size or two, but generally I think I'm okay. What's the process?
There's two processes there. One is called Bioniq Pro. The Bioniq Pro process is, I will ask you, do you have a recent blood test? And if you have a recent blood test, you can upload your blood test in the app. Our algorithm will review your blood test results and create a personal supplement, and will ship for you 3 months of supplementation. You will take the supplements for 3 months and you redo the blood test. And we will be able to compare apples to apples, what has changed over 3 months' time, how the supplements that we produce for you have impacted your overall health, what is now optimized, what is still deficient, what needs to change. But because there's a questionnaire, we will also know, what are your goals? Are you trying to lose that one extra size? Are you trying to prepare for some event? Are you trying to, get more energy? Are you want to have more libido? What's going on? What's the goal right now that you currently have? That's the Bioniq Pro. And then the Bioniq Go product is exactly the same thing, but you just do the questionnaire. And the way this works is, because we now have the largest biochemical databases, we will take your questionnaire, compare it to other people similar to you, see what their blood test results were in the past, and we can predict what your blood test results would be with an 82% accuracy, and you would receive the supplements based on the prediction. Why is that? It's more affordable. So that's $75 a month compared to Bioniq Pro, which is $200 a month. And it allows you to onboard quicker. A lot of people don't like doing blood tests. A lot of people are scared of needles. A lot of people don't like that hassle. For those people, Bioniq Go is the ideal place to start their journey. And then over time, if they feel then confident enough or secure enough to do a blood test, they can then go to Bioniq Pro.
Amazing. When you were coming up with the formulas and doing all the R&D, were you thinking about the average person or the athlete?
So the prehistory is, again, I have no medical background, so let's be very clear. After playing basketball, I went to management consultancy. I became the CEO of Groupon. I was the youngest CEO at Groupon in 48 countries, pre-IPO, post-IPO. So I was always in the business world. While on my journey to find out why there's no solution to what I needed, I met this neuroscientist who in Switzerland did clinical trials for Olympic athletes. Over 7 years, he was able to showcase that if you optimize micronutrient levels, so that's supplements, it's vitamins, it's elements, athletes are on average 10 days per year less sick. When an athlete is 10 days per year less sick, his productivity increases, his efficacy increases, cognitive and physical. And I met him, I'm like, by how much does it increase? He's like 6.9%. I'm like, to increase the output of an athlete by 6.9% is unheard of.
Absolutely.
I'm like, what could you do with a regular person? He's like, 35 to 50%. And I'm like, we need to scale that. So I bought out the intellectual property, I bought out the clinical trials in 2018, and 2019 launched Bioniq based on the clinical trials of the algorithms, which were initially created for Olympic athletes, but we made it accessible to everyone.
And so now that you are seeing 6 years later,
Yes.
all the data coming in, how much is that expediting your R&D and kind of the journey of all of that?
The best part about it is for the users themselves. Imagine if you would have started 6 years ago, I would have been I would be probably very, very conservative in your ingredients, in your dosages, because I wouldn't expect to know how your body would react. Because of all the data sets, when you come in now, I can give you dosages much, much more tailor-made to you on a higher dosage level to have a quicker effect on your body than ever before because of data sets. So the more data you have, the more precise the ingredients are, the more precise the dosages, the more efficacy for you as a user. So everybody wins.
That's amazing. I am therefore not surprised, listening to your background, your pedigree, what you're doing, that you managed to attract Ronaldo. Okay, not everybody knows this.
Yes.
The infamous Ronaldo.
Cristiano.
Yes.
So very interesting story. I think for a founder, the prehistory is the following. You launched a company in 2019. You think you're like, who would be the ideal face of the brand? Who would be your ideal user? I mean, there's only one person. It's me. Cristiano Ronaldo is based on Google. So Google turned 25 recently. In 25 years of Google, he's the most searched person in the world, the most followed person in the world, but also he is the most highest performer at the age that nobody expects people to still perform that highly. So in 2022, when he was playing for Manchester United, one of the players Manchester United, who now become a close friend and also investors, his name is Diogo Dalot, was using Bioniq already. So he's using Bioniq in the locker room next to Cristiano. So every day after practice, Diogo would take his Bioniq, and Cristiano was like, what is this? And Diogo's like, it's personal supplements based on blood testing data. So Cristiano got curious. So his medical team reached out to us in 2022, asked us about the product, we're BARDA compliant, where everything is in line, and he's like, I would like to try the product. So when we got that call, we were like, okay, we need to arrange that. But it was crazy because he was at the time in Manchester. We didn't have nurses in Manchester. We had one in London that was okay to drive out to Manchester. So we fly out, we drive the nurse one night before to the hotel to make sure she's not late. We go over to his house, take the blood test, everything goes perfect. He gets his supplements. 3 months go by, we're expecting what's going on. We get another call, he's like, love it, I want to continue. So he continued for several years, and then a little bit over a year ago, I get the phone call from his team, and they're like, you know what, Cristiano believes in what you're doing, sees the efficacy of the product, believes in the brand, believes in what you stand for. He would like to invest and become an investor in the company and be a shareholder.
That's phenomenal. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's phenomenal. I want to unpack that story a little bit. You have this idea, you've got the biggest player in the world that you want to just hand your product to just try the product.
100%.
When you first get and look, I do brand deals, right? I used to do brand deals for Rio Ferdinand.
Yeah.
So I know what that's like when you're trying to get that person.
Yeah.
When you get the first phone call, how are you inside? Like, are you screaming? Did you run around? Did you do a lap? Like,
no, because no, because again, this is the difference between the team and the founder. The founder has to be thinking about everything that can go wrong. Everybody in the team thinking about, oh my God, what if this goes right? And I'm like, no. Why did we send the nurse the night before? Because we want to make sure she's not late. Why did we make sure that everything goes perfect? Because as a founder, you understand it's a one-of-one opportunity, and your number one goal is to secure this opportunity. You don't think about what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen in 3 years. And at no point, people ask me, did you want him to invest? I'm like, I never gave it a thought. Because the moment I would think about not his product experience, but his investment, my focus would shift from what's really important. Because I know the product works, I know its efficacy, I know how convincing it can be. If I will take care of this, the rest will follow. So it was completely different.
That is so phenomenal. And let me tell you why. We've got a lot of people who watch this podcast that run businesses, are scaling businesses, or just have an aspiration. And you have said such a nugget that I want to hone in on. The importance is working out what could go wrong and eliminating all 100%. Risk. Dig deep for me on that a little bit more.
It's just because, again, you need to control the things you can control. And the things that I can control is the experience. I cannot control the emotions. I cannot control the surrounding. I cannot control the environment. And I believe, again, as a founder, I'm responsible for 3 things. I'm responsible to provide sources for my company. I need to be part of the business development to spread the word, as I'm doing today, and that I need to solve issues that nobody else can solve. So that's what I'm focused on. So when this opportunity comes to me, that means, okay, I need to solve anything that could go wrong, I need to provide the resources for it to go right, and I need to make sure that going forward, we can grow this together.
I love that. When you fast forwarded a few years later and he said, I want to invest, was that something that you had to keep quiet initially? When were you allowed to go public with it? What did that look like?
It was the most NDA confidential contract I think I've ever signed in my life.
I'm sure.
No, it was incredible because we had to keep it. We didn't announce it for almost 10 months. So from the moment we signed it for the announcement, I mean, it was an incredible long period. I think there's only a couple of people who were allowed to know of it. It was an incredible experience. And the best part is, internally, we knew it already happened. So this also gives us an internal confidence boost because like, oh my God, this is an incredible thing. It already happened, it's secure. So we go publicly and I speak to people. And I know in the background something big is happening. So it gave us an additional boost of confidence internally, which is a very good experience.
How involved is he on a kind of quarterly basis?
Oh, no, he's involved. We're chatting, we're discussing. I just spoke with him last week about potential opportunities and integrations. He loves the product, he has ideas on the product. He gives us feedback, how his personal journey is, what other people are doing. Again, and the best part is also, obviously, he has a certain network.
Yes.
And this network, I mean, you can't put a value on that.
Absolutely. My audience would kill me if I don't ask you this question. What is he like?
He is, so I fully agree that there's this little bit of an aura moment. So I remember we were in Lisbon, he walks into the room and you do feel like, is that really him? And he walks in, he's the most kindest, caring, and then incredibly in detail. So we had a meeting that was probably set for maybe 30 minutes. It went over an hour and a half in the details, discussed, interested, thought. So it felt he is in the moment, he's present, he's very well prepared, very respected. And again, he could not be more forthcoming and supportive, especially given, I mean, everything that is on his shoulders on every single day.
I love your journey. If you were to look back, because you've had a stellar basketball career, you've overcome the injuries, you've worked in corporates. Don't think I didn't hear what you said about the
No
stuff
worries.
you've done in corporates. Like,
No worries.
absolutely phenomenal career. Now you've got Ronaldo as your business partner or your investor. If you look back and you say to yourself, what are the key lessons that I've learned in this journey that you could give to the audience to take away as they're building?
Yeah.
What would they be?
I mean, I think there's several ones. The one thing is the effort aspect, what people need to understand. The sports, why are people hiring athletes or people with military background, is because people are drilled to be able to overcome their emotions, to bring in the effort regardless of what's happening. So one of the things that I'm trying to get to people is your effort is always the same. There are certain things that are not in your control and you have to accept that. But one thing is that is not outside of your control is the effort that you need to bring in. So I'll tell people, I hire for the will, not the skill. If you got the will, I'll teach you the skill. If you only have the skill will be outdated soon. Without the will, you will not keep up with things. So for the will aspect is something that you need to keep on going, you need to keep on investing, you need to ask for more. And I always look into people who want more responsibility, who want more to showcase their capabilities, because those are the people that are going to grow together with you.
I love that. I love that. If there was a question that you wished any podcaster, interviewer asked you that I haven't asked today, what would that be?
I think you asked me about the dunk, and the dunk was the question that nobody ever asked me. I think you closed the final one.
Fantastic. All right, let's do some quick fires to wrap
Please
this
do.
up, shall we? I love my team and their quick fires. Basketball court or boardroom?
Wow.
Yeah, right?
At age 40, I'll take the boardroom, because last time I was in a basketball court, I realized how bad I got.
Fair dues. Berlin breeze or Dubai heat?
Dubai heat,
Dubai,
anytime.
yeah?
Oh my God,
I know,
yes,
I'm with
I
you.
love it here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
When people are like, oh, do you not like the summer? No, I love the summer. I love it. Data or instinct?
Instinct.
I feel that from
Yeah.
you. I feel that. Podcast or playlist?
Podcast, oh my God, podcast.
Who are you listening to?
Podcast ones?
Yeah, other than Aura. of
No,
course.
other than AURA. So it's interesting, but there's a correlation in my life is when I'm really, really in a focused phase on the business, on my health, I go really deep. So the whole Huberman's, Peter Attia's podcast. I'm now really deep into peptides, into all that kind of things where you just like deep dive. If you're in I woke up, had a fun night out with friends, I listen to Bill Simmons, basketball podcasts and all that kind of stuff. So it's more sporty. But again, 90% of the time, it's something health related, and it's most likely something innovation around health.
Love that. Ice bath or sauna?
So I do twice a day ice bath.
Twice a day?
So every morning, so before I got here, I was doing an ice bath I do before I go to sleep. And
Okay, why?
So ice bath, there's three aspects of ice bath. One is ice bath is good for inflammation reduction. So I work out a lot, so I need inflammation reduction. Two is it's good for fat mobilization, so it's good to keep you lean. And three, it's the dopamine aspect of ice bath. So they did a comparison study from your neurons. They compared it to street drugs. Street drugs are on average 20, 30 minutes increase of dopamine. Ice bath holds for 4 to 5 hours. Oh. So I love the spike of dopamine from the ice bath. But if you do it before you go into bed, which I do, is the body needs to balance out the temperature. And when the body balances out the temperature, you fall asleep quicker. So it's actually one of the hacks to get you to fall asleep quicker.
Wow, I love that. You are full of nuggets. I could talk to you all day. I am getting the wrap-up side. I got it about 10 minutes ago and I'm still talking to you. You're fascinating. Congratulations on everything.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I could have done a part 2, a part 3, a part 4. Go and check out everything that they are doing on Bioniq. Do the personalized test. I'm not plugging it because he's here. I'm plugging it because it sounds phenomenally interesting. Until next time, I'll see you later.
This podcast was hosted by brand marketing expert QB Springer and produced by Avant Garde Brand Experiences and AURA Skypool.